If you know the actual root cause of the problem and creating systems that allow the people to buy into it and commit to it, you will not solve the problem sustainably. So how do you mobilize and inspire people to buy into a dream beyond a certain short period of time? And that is what impact storytelling will help you achieve. What it also help you achieve is that it helps you speak the language that funders want to hear. You see, if you work in the social impact sector, I am excited to inform you that you are working in a very lucrative sector. There are people who have spoiled the world in many different ways, and now they want to give money to the people who will make them feel less guilty about how they have destroyed the world. You know, if you're talking about oil companies, for example, today they all have foundations or they all fund foundations. Why? Because there are places where there are oil spills, it's their fault, they feel guilty, and they want to make the world just a little bit better. But aside corporate institutions, there are foundations, there are individuals who are just really committed to making the world a better place. But they can't do it by themselves, they can't do it on their own, you know, and they have access to people who can fund those initiatives. They have access to resources, financial resources that can fund those initiatives. So because they cannot split themselves across the world, what they do is that they look out for people who are already working along these lines. And they say, you know what, we're calling, for papers, we're calling for proposals, right? And then when you submit proposals and you submit your story, and if it aligns with what they are looking at achieving in the grand scheme of things, they say, okay, instead of us doing it ourselves, we'll give the money to you. And so we share the impact story with you. Okay. So I can't do it myself, but I will do it through you. Right. And so mastering impact storytelling allows you to speak the language that funders understand. And then finally, but not the least, is that it helps you to now create lasting change. Okay. So as you guys know, this is not a sit back and listen session. It's a no slides conversation. I'm not going to be showing slides. I'm tempted to show us a couple of videos, but I think we can find them. So I'm not going to show anything. So we're just going to talk. We're going to debate. We're going to interact in the course of the conversation. Okay. So now that we have our groups split in three, I have my very first question, and I'll need one person per group to respond. Okay. So I've explained what impact storytelling means in the grand scheme of things. In your own industry where you currently work, what will impact storytelling mean to you practically? We'll start with Team Bravo. So who wants to go in Team Bravo?
Why? Why Team Bravo?
Confuse your enemies. I know you would be expecting me to start from the beginning or from the end, but the goal is everyone to be Team Bravo. So let's go, Shukra.
No. Like, what's the question again? I wanted to be sure if Omolola or Mr. Right, have one or two things to share. The question again, please.
So the question is, what will impact storytelling mean in the industry that you play or in the business that you currently operate? What will it mean for you?
Okay, I think it's going to do the work of visibility and visibility, and then a kind of support where you, especially at times where things could be challenging, when you have support from the online community or whatever people, as a result of the stories you have put out there, maybe it could even be behind the scenes and all of the struggles and all of that, it gives you a kind of succor or something like that, and then it gives you a positioning for futuristic opportunities. I don't know if I answered the question.
Amazing. Thank you, Shukra. I think you did in your own way, and that's what I'm looking for, right? Okay, so Team Alpha, let's go next. Who wants to go from Team Alpha?
If I may?
Yes, please.
Well, I feel impactful storytelling actually covers a lot of ground because it speaks to marketing, it speaks to quality assurance, and it also it builds confidence basically within your business. And if you are able to actually tell your story and tell your vision the right way, then you are spreading the word about your business in terms of word of mouth. You are showing the value of your business to everybody, and any of your clients that are actually telling the story of your business, also spreading the word and showing the authenticity, authenticity of your business, because with every person that you assist, if they go out and actually tell what you've done and actually explain it to everyone in detail, then that way they show how ethical you are, they show how knowledgeable you are, they show your strong points. And last but not least, I feel the art of storytelling can be very helpful because it's something to learn from. When you listen to somebody, or even yourself, when you go back and actually tell the story of what you do, or have a customer or anyone that you've dealt with have to tell you what you've done in their lives and the impact that you've had, and they tell you their story, then automatically you can learn from that. You can see that, okay, based on what you're hearing, it becomes a point of introspection. You learn what you did right, you learn what you can improve on, and you learn basically how you can align what you do along with your vision better every time when you repeat it, every time when another person tells you about it. I'm hoping that my understanding is correct of the question.
Absolutely. I think you did a great job. As a matter of fact, I was going to say perhaps I should give you 10 minutes to continue to teach us because I think there's something we can learn from you. Okay. Well, absolutely. You
Thank
did
you.
fantastic. Well done. Okay, Team Charlie.
All right, good evening.
Good evening, Yvonne.
It's a challenge to go last when everyone has exhausted everything. It is wow. So, so when it comes to the impact of storytelling, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm an author. This is my area. And I'm also into personal development trainings and sexual harassment awareness. And I'm also into storytelling, empowering young girls through mentorship and entrepreneurship. So I use storytelling the most to empower these young minds. So when it comes to the issue of the impact of storytelling, this is something that builds rapport and it increases audience engagement because I'm standing here, I'm telling my story, I'm narrating as raw as it is. I'm not taking like a story from someone else's textbook, like this person did this, but I'm here standing, trying to build that engagement with them, telling them, so this is the path maybe that I've gone through. This is in line with what I do. So I see storytelling as something that is so powerful. That is something that is authentic. You know, you are telling your story without lying, without blinging, and you are instilling that sense of, the real them through your stories. So storytelling is so impactful and powerful, and this is something that when you tell someone, they will not forget. They will go about remembering everything that you have said, and because you are using, very practical and real examples, it will stick in their minds. And when it comes to business, mostly it increases rapport and trust within your clients. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Yvonne. I think you've done an incredible job explaining that as well. What's important with that question was that I expected every single person to have, varying responses. I expect every single person to have different ideas because in as much as I've already explained what I think impact storytelling is, I wanted you to personalize it to yourself. Okay. And we'll continue to understand it a bit better, as we progress. But first, I'd like to share something with us. I just requested permission to share my screen. So host, please grant me access to share screen or make me co-host or something, so I can do that. We're still not using slides, by the way. But there are two practical examples that I want to share, and I want us to tell me what the difference is in these two. So I'm going to open two websites and I'll show us the landing pages. And I'm going to ask you a very important question. And the question really is, if you were an individual who wants to choose where to work, an individual in the social impact sector, right? And you want to choose where to work, which of these businesses would you work with? That is the first question. The second question is, if you were a funder with money to fund an initiative, okay, which of those initiatives would you fund? So those are my two questions, right? So just give me a moment.
Sorry. Could you please repeat the second question for me?
So I'm going to share my screens. I'm going to show you a couple of websites. There are three landing pages. Okay. So the question is two questions. Question number one, if you are an individual and you want to work for, an impact focused business, or company or organization, as the case may be. Which one of them would you work for? That is number one. Number two, if you were a funder, you have money and you want to give it to an organization that is doing good for the world, which one of those organizations would you give it to? So I will show you 2 websites or 3, and I want you to pick one for question number 1 and one for question number 2. Particular exercises for everybody, right? And I need you guys to just type your responses in the chat box. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the name of the organization, you should see them as well. And just type number 1, your answer, number 2, your answer, right? I hope we're all good. If we're good, please use the thumbs up button on your screen. If you understand what we have to do, use the thumbs up button, please. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Ugochukwu, Yinka, Yvonne, Lindue. Are we good? Shukra, are we good? Thank you, Miss Chura. April's Culture and Olamide, are we good? Please indicate that we're good. Amazing. Thank you, Lindue. So we will move on now. Sharing my screen in a moment. Okay. Do not mind my extremely full tab or tabs. Is this a window? Yeah, my extremely full window. So the first that I'm sharing is JCI. Now there's a chance that some of us are JCI members, right? This is not where you vote to make JCI look good, okay? This is a practical class, and I'm going to analyze some of these landing pages. So if you come to jci.cc, which is the global landing page for JCI, this is what you find. This is the very first screen. Guys, can you see my screen? Please confirm that I can see it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay. So this is what you see. You see white people. You see white people, you see people having a conversation, right? It looks like young people doing something. Oh, black people as well. And on the right, you see a lot of things that an average person may or may not understand. JCI Senate Club 100, library, JCI organizations, program, events, charts, donation, a lot of stuff, okay? That's what you see on your fourth screen. Now, if you scroll down, you see our mission, our vision, our creed. Then you see, if you scroll down, then you see what we do and a bunch of other things, and then you see news, okay? This is what you find on the JCI website. So guys, website number 1, JCI. Are we good? Have you guys seen everything? I want to move on to the next one. Can I proceed? Awesome, Lindy. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next website, and it is called Enactus, okay? So I'm displaying the screen for Enactus now. What you see is our vision, and they say young leaders everywhere use innovation and business skill to what is that? Ensure that all people thrive in a sustainable world. Young leaders everywhere use innovation and business skills to ensure that all people thrive in a sustainable world. Our vision, and then we're seeing young people, you know, smiling and raising their hands. If you scroll down, you'd see Resolution Project X Enactus. I'm assuming Resolution Project is an organization. There's something about that. When you scroll down, you see our impact, right? 1,626 projects, 33 countries, yada, 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 and a bunch of numbers. Now, to the third organization, I'm switching screens now. So you come to the third organization, it's called Lagos Food Bank Initiative, right? And on the home page, this is what you're seeing. Okay, only 17% of Nigerian workers hold the wage jobs best able to lift them out of poverty. Impacted over 2 million beneficiaries, right? This is a dynamic screen, so it's changing. Okay. Nigeria wastes over 37.9 million tons of food every year. We redirect surplus food away from landfills to vulnerable families, public schools. Nigeria has the second highest burden of malnourished children in the world and the first in Africa. Our nutrition program is committed to tackling over 11.2 million. So different problem statements and a statement on how, you know, they are solving that problem. That is what you see on the very first page. And then when you scroll down, what you see next is the impact numbers and a map of Nigeria with everywhere they are and, you know, what they do in those places on the right. So you can see a map showing the different states in Nigeria where they operate. Okay, and then if you scroll down, you'd see more about how much they have spent on programs, how many partners they've had, corporate partners. And then as you scroll down, you now see more about some of their engagement, okay? So guys, we've seen Organization 1, JCI, Organization 2, Enactus, Organization 3, Lagos Food Bank Initiative. Now, back to our task. Number 1, if you were an impact-focused individual and you want to choose an organization to work with, which of these three would you work with? That's question number one. Question number two, if you were a funder and you want to fund an impact-based project, with the story that you have seen so far, yeah, barring other what's it called? Metrics, which of these three would you fund? So just write number one, the name of the organization, number two, the name of the organization. Let's go, guys. 30 seconds for us all to submit our responses. Anyone who does not submit the response in 30 seconds, I will assume he's not on this call. Okay. Okay, so interesting choices. Interesting choices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 responses. We have more than 5% on this call, so I need more responses. Amazing. Okay, so let's take a look at the responses together, and perhaps we'll take a look at what some of these guys did right or wrong. Okay, so Yinka says, I am working with JCI and funding the food bank. Yvonne says, I'm funding the food bank and working with JCI. Lindue says, work with option 2, fund option 3. Option 2 was Enactus. Option 3 is Lagos Food Bank. Ugochukwu says, I would work with Lagos Food Bank and fund Lagos Food Bank. Nuseba would fund Lagos Food Bank and work with Enactus. Olamide will fund the food bank. Shukra will fund the food bank. Mistura says, I will be funding Lagos Food Bank due to their mission. It's a non-profit organization, so I'll be doing it for charity's sake and also to provide support to those in need. As for working, I would work with Enactus. So going by all of these responses, I think that everybody unanimously agrees that Lagos Food Bank should be funded. And when it comes to where you'd work, I think 80% of respondents would work with Enactus, and only 2% wants to work with JCI. But the question is why? So I need 2 persons to share why before I share my comments. So Mistra, you already shared why. Thank you so much for doing that. I would want to hear from Nusaiba, and I want to hear from Yvonne. Okay, so Nusaiba, please go first. Why did you why did you go for those choices, those options?
Okay, so I would fund the Lagos Food Bank because just looking at their website, you can see what the problems are. You can see how they're solving it. You can also see the work that they've done so far. So they're showing, what's it called? There's proof. Yeah, there's proof for what they're doing. And you can see the numbers. So you know that, okay, when you're investing or you're funding them, you can already tell what they're going to do with the money. It's very clear. And then to work with Enactus, the Enactus landing page has like more compelling and really clear information about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And you can also see Black people. So yeah, those are my reasons.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Nusaiba. Yvonne?
Thank you so much. I'm not thinking, why did they choose those? All right. So as for funding, I'll go for Lagos Food Bank. Why? Because I'm seeing that on their first page, they are showing many areas of interest, like what they are doing, and a person can have a choice, like a choice of interest. For me, I already found where I really fit, and this will be something that I'm amplifying my impact as well when I'm putting in my funds there. So this is another thing that actually got me interested. There are so many areas of interest, and anyone can just fit into that. Then I'll work for JCI. The picture themselves, they are talking, it's impressive. You can just see that there is organizational skills in there, and once you get in there, you just feel that you're at the right place and you can come out with something meaningful.
Okay, so now what would I choose? Okay, what would I choose? First, I'm a JCI member. I am very proud. But if we're making a decision based off this landing page, it would not be in favor of JCI. I'm sorry. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So I'm looking at people, and that's great. I'm looking at people wearing JCI crest, and that's great. And I'm seeing a bunch of things. You guys can see my cursor, right? I'm seeing a bunch of things on the right here that I, as a neutral person, will not understand. A JCI person will understand, but a neutral person will not understand. program, library, Club 100, JCI organization, JCI. What does that mean for, a neutral person who's developing interests, right? And then if you calm down, it talks about who we are, right? Our mission, our vision, our creed. Beautiful, right? And then you can go ahead and see history, global team, ambassadors, beautiful information. But is it the best use of your global landing page? I do not think so. Okay. So for me, JTI is out of the game completely. Then if you come to Enactus, well, this very first page doesn't cut it for me as well, because this is what people will see first when they come to your website. So it has to be compelling. There's something we call attention span, and then there is click-through rate. Attention span is how long people spend on your content, or your, in this case, when they. And so the question is, by seeing this, does it stimulate me enough to want to see more? Or am I just wondering, what the hell is this? Okay. So, but let's assume people do not usually churn within their first 2 seconds. They'll spend at least 3-4 seconds on your website. So enough time to scroll down and see, is there anything else? On the second page, this is what I am still seeing, and I still do not understand it. On the top page, I'm thinking, okay, this is looking interesting. And maybe when I see this, I'm interested in seeing more. Okay. So Enactus would be number 2 on the scale for me. But I think that given that we are making the decision solely based on the story, and that attention span is really short, and the likelihood that I will go to the third page to now see something that will now pique my interest to want to read more, I think that also doesn't cut it for me. Okay. But if you come here, there is a clear problem statement and a clear declaration of how they are solving that problem. And it's not just static, it's dynamic. So they are telling you the different areas that they work in and how exactly they are solving that problem year in, year out, right? From malnutrition to, health, to food supplies, amongst other things. If you come back to the JCI website here and you take a look at all of these things, in reality, it is not so different from this. Because everything embedded here, when you start deep diving on them, has impact stories, has results that is very similar to this. In fact, has bigger results. Because for JCI, it is not just one country. It is more than 30 countries, right? Hundreds of local organizations, hundreds of thousands of members. And when you put all of their impacts together, it truncates this by miles. However, on this landing page, we've put those projects there in their project names. We didn't deep dive to show the impact of those projects. Nobody will give you money because you have a fancy project name or because you have a project at all. Nobody wants to work with a business because the business has a fancy project name. People will either work with a business or fund the business because they are telling a good story. We have a great story at JCI, but we've not told it well here. These guys have a good story, and they are also telling it incredibly well. And they're not just giving us, the words, they're also backing it up with pictures. One of the things that is also very easy to see here is our gallery. You don't find that anywhere here. You don't find that anywhere here. What that means is that I'm seeing all of these things and I'm wondering if they are lying or not, right? I could easily come here and click on it. Then it takes me straight to the page where I'm seeing evidence, real evidence. Okay. We're not going to go through all of that today, but you can see, you can see what people are talking about. You can see their gallery. It takes you straight to Instagram. And maybe you can say, I am already seeing known faces, right? You can see known faces. And so that gives them, credibility. Now, why have I shown this to us? Okay. One of the most important things that business owners, whether it is an impact business or not, one of the biggest skills you need to learn is storytelling. But storytelling and impact storytelling are two different things. You see, when it comes to stories, anybody can tell a story, but not everybody can tell a story of impact. And this is the thing. Guys, please give me a moment. Sincere apologies about that, guys. I needed to attend to an emergency request. Okay, so why was it important that we saw that? Because everybody can tell a story, but not every story makes sense. And this is the thing. You own your story. You can tell it however you like. Okay? Have you always wondered why certain people raise millions of dollars in funding for projects that do not exist? The answer is very clear. Because they can tell beautiful stories. Stories that are so beautiful, they are believable. And more so than anyone was willing to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into them. And why are people who are working hard and doing great things unable to raise good money? It is because even though they might be good storytellers, they've not mastered the process of telling those stories in the way that the funders want to hear them. So there are two different things. So if you're playing in this space, you need to understand that as a social entrepreneur, you are an impact first business, okay? Impact and profit. You're not an NGO, you're not a charitable organization. So impact and profit, but you're an impact-based organization. So impact storytelling is your core. It's not just storytelling. It's not just saying, we're X, we do Y, and it's beautiful. No. At every single point in time, you want to show a link between what you're doing and how it's making the world a better place. So storytelling in essence will now be described as the art, A-R-T, the art of showing how your work change lives. That's it. The art of showing how your works or how your work change lives. Something as simple as, instead of saying, this year we trained 200 women. Okay. What you could do is you could show who one of those women is, what she faced before they met you, what she's doing when she met you, and how her life is changing right now. Instead of saying, we installed 100 new solar panels in Yamoussoukro, right? You can say between X and Y period, we have helped to reduce the carbon emission in Yamoussoukro by X amount, connecting X number of people to sustainable, clean energy. And that energy has generated X number of jobs, Y number of economic opportunities, Z number of whatever it is. Because the ripple effect of what you're doing is so great that you leave value on the table every time you're not approaching your story from a result point of view. So it's not about the process, it's about the results. And every time you want to talk about your business, you want to talk about it from the impact point of view, not from the process point of view. Okay? And so in essence, impact storytelling is the bridge between data and emotion. What are you using? Data, your business data. But what are you using that data for? the emotions of the people that you want to work with, the emotions of the people that you need to get funding from. Every time somebody comes to your website or reads your proposal, you need to ask yourself, what kind of emotions do you want to invoke in them? That's the very first question before you start writing or before you start building your communication plan. I'll share a very typical example with perhaps not the biggest, social enterprise in the world, but very popular, right? We all know Apple. There's a chance that someone is either joining this call with a MacBook or an iPhone or an iPad. And if you're not using any of that, you're probably using, the AirPod or a Apple Watch. But when Apple started telling their story, one of the most beautiful stories that I love, in I think 1983, thereabout, please don't quote me on the year, I'm not very sure. But it's either in the 1970s or the 1980s. There's this video that he had. They didn't talk about the product. They didn't talk about the features. They talked about the people that will be interfacing with the product, who they are, and what they can become by using that product. So in essence, they approached that story from an impact point of view. Now trying to find that video so that I can play it for us. So much for a no slides class, right? I'm showing too many things. Please give me a moment, okay? There is another video that I'd like to show, but we'll get there. And I particularly love this video because it was a 1970s video, right? But it sort of sets the tone for how Apple has consistently continued to tell their story till date. Because it is not just, it's never just give me a moment. I'm trying to pull that video. Okay. So I think it's titled Here is to the Crazy Ones. Okay. It's about 1 minute long. I hope I got the right version. So I'm sharing my screen now. Just an attention check, guys. Are we still together? Please give me a thumbs up if we're still together and you can hear me.
Yes,
Awesome.
we are.
So
We're still together.
Here
can you guys hear the sound?
to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers,
Yes.
round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Guys, is there anywhere in this ad, this is an ad, by the way, where you saw Apple or where you saw a device, where you saw a laptop, where you saw anything of that nature? None, right? And why this is not the typical example that I actually want to share for the purpose of this class, I think it was important that we digress there a little bit so that you understand what works the most in the areas of storytelling. Every time you approach a story, you need to have a target emotion that you want to invoke in the people who are going to see, hear, or interact with that story. And for Apple, it has never been about the product. It has been about the result of that product, the emotions they want you to feel, and what they want you to associate that product with. And in this case, as far back as the 1970s, they made an ad that is saying that if you want to be someone who thinks differently, if you want to be someone who challenges the status quo, if you want to be someone who feels that you're not just satisfied with what is, you want to change it, you want to disrupt it, you want to innovate, you want to be better, then this is the community for you. This is where you should be. And what that does is that it connects with everybody who sees that video on a very emotional level. And the unit of personalization for humans today is emotions. People will not associate with you because of what you do. They associate with you because of how you make them feel. They buy your product, they fund your business because of how they feel doing so. It is that personal fulfillment that they derive from doing it that drives them to do it in the very first place. And some of the most funded business in the world today, whether for profit or not profit, are the ones who have mastered the art of storytelling. Impact storytelling. Guys, are we still together? Let me see thumbs up if we're still together. I need at least
We're still
5.
together.
Amazing. I need 5. 5. Ogochukwu, Nasaiba, Lindue, Miss Chura, Yvonne. Okay, April Scripture. Thank you. So for those who joined after we've split ourselves into groups, Mr. Latif, please help me assign them. Starting with Team Alpha. I think Team Alpha is the one with 2 persons. So once we had 1 person to Team Alpha, then we had to Alpha, Bravo, Charlie once more. Hopefully we have 4 persons and that would go round. Okay. So now that we understand that, right? We understand what's important. Your storytelling is the bridge that you use to, connect the data from your business with the emotions of the people that you're trying to work with. And why it's important is because donors want more than reports, right? They want to see that their stories reflect in the lives, in lived realities. They want to see that the story you're telling actually reflects in lived realities of the people, of the target audience that they had, Also because stories create action, whether it is volunteering or funding or policy changes, even interaction on social media. A beautifully written story on Twitter, for example, will trend, whether it is propaganda or not, whether it is the truth or not. If it is written well, it will trend. And the ones that are not so greatly written, what happens to them? Some do well, some don't do well at all, even if it's the most valuable piece of content that people will come across that day. It will still not do well because it's not well written. Okay. So who are the people who need impact storytelling? Are incredible budding and existing social entrepreneurs, non-profit organizations, CSR teams, in larger organizations, development organizations, and maybe even impact investors. Okay. These are the people who need impact storytelling. And remember, you are number 1 on that list. So you absolutely need to master this skill. So we've explained what impact storytelling is. We've reviewed a couple of organizations. We've seen their stories. We've seen what's great about it. We've seen what it's not great. We've all agreed that even our own darling JCI needs to revamp, how it's telling its stories, because we're leaving a lot of impact numbers under the table. We're not bringing it to the table, and it's not the best way to represent ourselves. So,
Hakeem,
how exactly do we go about? Is someone saying something?
Akiode. Yes, it's Uzo.
Hi, Uzo.
Yes. Yeah. So Latif said I should ask you how you want us to create the groups. Are you saying that we should put them in breakout rooms, or how do you want us to do it?
Oh, no, we already have groups. I'm just asking you to assign the members who just joined onto each of those groups.
Okay.
So Team Alpha is missing a person, so add 1 more person to Alpha. And then
Okay.
so Alpha becomes 3, like other teams as well. Then every other person that's left after that, then you spread them across all 3 groups. When it is time for
All
a
right.
break, I'll let you know.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what are the basics of impact storytelling? Of course, for every strategy, there are components. Here's how you do it. And there are key parts of that strategy that you must not miss. The moment you miss it, there is trouble. Okay. Your story will either not make sense or people will not connect with it. And the 3 components of every powerful impact story are: number 1, a character. Every impact story needs a character, someone or a group of who you are putting in the light, who you're focusing your story on. Okay. Number 2 is the challenge. What is the barrier, the injustice, or the pain point that you're trying to solve or optimize for? That always also has to be a part of the story. And number 3, the change. What is the transformation, the impact that this character will feel through your intervention? Either it is a proposed intervention, or it's an existing intervention, or it's something that you've already done. Okay. What will they get, are getting, or will get, or have gotten from their engagement with you? So for every story that you're telling, the character, a person or a group of people, the challenge, and the change. I'm going to share my screen again and show us the Lagos Food Bank website one more time. And tell me whether or not they got these three things, together with their story. So I'm sharing now. Sorry, guys. I think my network is lagging a bit. So look at it. Character, challenge, impact. Those three. Does it reflect here in the stories that you're seeing? Any takers? Does anyone want to respond? Do you think that three reflects in the story that you see on Lagos Food Bank? If yes, why?
You can't see your screen anymore.
Yeah, I shared it briefly on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I want someone from Team Charlie to speak. Yvonne is raising. Okay, Yvonne, please go.
All right, I would love to try. Thank you so much. So the log was, is it food bank initiative? I think they have shown all the three characters. At first, the character, for me, I would take the one with poverty alleviation, which is the character they have put on the children that need food, or the one that they're providing like meals to them. Then the challenge, that is reduction of poverty. Then the change, we are seeing women being powered. Maybe they are now doing ISOs. They are now attending workshops with, the skin is glowing. This is what I've observed when you showed the website at first. So thank you so much for that. So I think they are showing the three characters.
Amazing. Thank you, Yvonne. So I want someone to tell me why you think, for example, or which of those characters you think is amiss with the JCI website. Okay. So for reference, I am sharing my screen again. This is the website. This is the very first page that you'd see. Apologies, I think it's trying to log me in. I'm not trying to do that. Oh, sorry, I could just switch screens. Okay. So if you come to the JCI website, yeah, this is what you see, right? And if you scroll down, these are the things that you see. Does this show any of the three components of impact storytelling? Any takers? Does this show any of the components of impact storytelling? The three components: the character, the challenge, the result. Does it do that? No one? Okay, sorry, I wasn't on the screen. Lindiwe, let's have you.
I think to a certain extent, they're trying to show communication. They're trying to show the outcome with the ladies. It's trying to say this is the level that you will reach of comfort. But at the same time, I digress because one of the main reasons why I didn't choose it as a team I'd work with earlier on is that they seem to have everything put together, and like it's almost as if they don't need more people. They've got it sorted. They've got their mission sorted, kind of thing. I don't know if that's answering your question in terms of my view
Yes.
of what I'm seeing here. Because
Yes,
I remember with the three options that you'd given is that I remember I chose enactors because between enactors and JCI, the feeling that you got was with enactors you're gonna get a chance to have a hands-on approach. You're gonna have a chance to get properly involved. And then with the JCI pictures, it's almost as if they've done the work. They are in a good place and they are sorted and they don't really need much help anymore. because everything seems to be joyous, and it's like, in South Africa we have this thing of joking around and saying we are cruising nicely. So it gives that vibe based on those pictures, that cruising
Awesome.
nicely vibe. Yes.
Thank you, Lindoy. Yinka, I'd like to hear from you.
Okay, so basically, the things that we need to look out for is mobilize people, attract reasonable, or like, how do you say that? Attract reasonable sponsorships, and of course, be of lasting change. I don't genuinely think GCI does that. To be honest, this feels like a company's website. And if you've ever really been like job hunting, like in the professional sense of the word or in the corporate sense of the word, and you probably need to look for like the marketing somebody, so to speak, this looks like the type of website you come onto to check up their names and then go on LinkedIn and then like go check them out. And the fact that it's just like, say, white people initially, in a way, it kind of like prioritizes the, what's it called? I don't know, but that's how it come off to me. Sorry, that's how it comes off to me and all. I'm seeing a lot of white people, first slide, second slide. I don't understand. And then it's a white person also talking to like a relatively black person or trying to like comfort them and all of those things. It's obvious that these people, JCI, does not seem to prioritize like the black women in themselves or the black people in themselves. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'd like to work in this situation basically because I feel like it's very competitive. I'd be able to get like, say, insights, international insights. It's more from a beneficiary perspective and all of those things. It does not tell the story of people mobilizing people. For example, it feels like they already have mobilized their people and like it's going to be a privilege joining them, even just like what Linda has said and all of those things.
Yinka, are you done?
I mean, like it's yes. I'm basically saying that JCI does not communicate like all of the, what's it called, like the three things that you have listed that is very important to like for impactful storytelling, which is mobilizing people, attracting reasonable sponsorships, and of course making lasting change. The website in itself does not do that. However, it's giving the website of like people that are already made, like Lindway said, and that you would want to work with if you're looking like for competitive opportunities, and maybe say like a tick in your resume, so to speak, like, oh yeah, I did work with JCI, so and so. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. I mean, I think your submission is apt, and so is Lindois. Both of you hit the nail on the head, and that's the truth. Because whether or not JCI members on this call agree with you, it is the truth. It is your truth, and that's one lesson I want every single person on this call to take away from here today. No matter how you choose to tell your story, people will interpret it how it resonates to them. So it is your job to ensure that your story is as clear, as straightforward as possible. And I agree with you guys. If you come to the JCI website, you do not see those three characters. You do not see the character, you do not see the challenge, you do not see the results, you don't see the impact. Right? Does it look like an organization that is exciting? Yes. But are you seeing the information that typically excites anyone averagely, right? Objectively, without any form of bias to what we already know? No, you do not see that. And therein lies the problem. If you come to an artist, do you see the character? I don't see the character as well. I know what the character is because, I'm associated with an artist. However, it is not very specific, on this landing page. Do you see the challenge? No, I don't see the challenge either because it's not stated here. But do you see the results? Do you see the impact that, they are looking to make or that they are making? Yes, you can see that, okay? So maybe the NACSA's website is just a little better, but it's not all that as well. But when you come to the website of the Lagos Food Bank, on the very first screen, you see all three components. You see the character, you see the intervention, you see the results. And they now added a very sweet extra. You see evidence. Does JCI have all of this? Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, this particular program that you're going through right now is an evidence because it's a JCI initiative. But will anyone else, aside the JCI member, know about some of those things from the way we are currently telling our story? The answer is no. And will the average funder or individual interested have the patience to continue to dig further without you stimulating their interest, the answer is no. And so it is important that you make sure that you tell your story as clearly as possible and leave no room for misinterpretation. Guys, are we together? If we're together, please give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs up so I know that we're together. Amazing. I'm not seeing activity from Sheila. I'm not seeing activity from Olamide. I think those two join us later in today. So if we're together, Sheila and Olamide, please use the thumbs up button. Okay, thank you, Olamide. Still no activity from Sheila, so I'm assuming that Sheila is not here. Okay, she's in a noisy
Sorry,
place.
so she just dropped a message.
That's fine. I'm not asking you to unmute, just try and use the icons on your screen once in a while. So thank you guys for sticking with me till this moment. So let's use a relatable example, okay? One of our tutors, right? One of our amazing cohort one social entrepreneurs, the founder of Zambezi Ag Technologies, right, makes renewable energy solutions. And I think one of them is like cook stoves, if I'm not wrong. Baba Plus makes cook stoves, all those low environmental impact cook stoves that you find in some parts of northern Nigeria and a lot of places in East Africa. So say you make a clean cook stove from a social enterprise that helps people to cook safely, prevent smoke inhalation in both their nose and through their eyes, and helps them save time, and maintain good health. How will you tell that story? There are two ways. You can say, this year we sold 10,000 clean cook stoves, right? Or we're making 10,000 clean cook stoves for women in Kenya. It sounds like something noble that you're doing. But you can also say, with a clean cook stove from X enterprise, X character, cooks safely, saves time, and our kids no longer suffer from smoke inhalation. You're saying the same thing in two different ways, but one will resonate with people more than the other. One sounds like business metrics that you're meeting, the other sounds like impacts that you're making. And so it is important that we understand all these three, or these two rather, how they work, and that every time that we're trying to write something, be it an article or a social media design, whatever we're doing at all, we always ask ourselves, what emotion are we trying to invoke at the end of this? How best can we do it? And what's the data saying? What are the metrics that we can use to bring this to life? So now it's time for our first group discussion. Between Team Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, we're going to do one thing. So this is your task. And I hope that all team leads are still on the call with me because I expect you to lead the conversation in your individual breakout rooms. Uzo, please, once we're done with this, let us break people into breakout rooms. Team Alpha, Team Bravo, and Team Charlie, okay? So this is your question. Pick one of you who is already leading a social enterprise. Find the problem statement that the person is trying to solve. And from the problem statement, find the character, find the challenge, find the intervention, and create a 3-line story around the work that you do. I'm going to repeat that. Volunteer a social entrepreneur in your team, get their problem statement, and in their problem statement, find a character. They may or may not have it, but find one, find the challenge, and find the intervention. And with those three, create a 3-line story around the problem that they are solving. We will have 5 minutes for this task. I assume that Uzo will need about 2 minutes to set us up. So we'll begin now. We'll go into the breakout rooms. We'll spend 5 minutes on our task. And at exactly 5:30 p.m. Nigerian time, which would be 4 p.m. I think in SA and 6 p.m. in Zim, sorry, 6:30 p.m. in Zim, 4:30 p.m. in South Africa. I expect us all to be back in the general room. So we'll go now and we'll be back by exactly 5:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Okay, so 7 minutes in total for us to get this done. Uzwamaka, over to you.
All right, just give me a second. I'm creating the rooms now. Hey guys, could you please go to the WhatsApp group and just type in whatever group they are in so that I can quickly assign it over here. Thank you.
To make it faster, I think you could just create the groups and then we just join from here.
All right, I'll do that. So when you see your team, you just join. All right, so it has been done.
Can we all see breakout rooms on our screen?
No, I'm here to see you.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I
Can
can
you
see
see
it.
it now?
Okay, so
Yes,
okay, yeah.
yes.
So please join the breakout room now. Okay, so the task begins. Thank you.
Yvonne, what team are you in?
Team Charlie, I can't find the link to the room.
All right, I've
Alright.
included you. I've included you now.
All right, thank you.
Have you seen it? Sheila, are you there? If you are, can you please type in what group you're in?
Sheila isn't in a group yet. You have to add her to one randomly.
My people
Okay.
communities.
Let me put her in Team Bravo.
Okay, they are all in the breakout rooms now.
Okay, thanks, bosses. So we'll just wait for them to do their thing over there, and then when they're back, I think I have one more video that I want to share, and I still want us to
Okay.
have another breakout session for them to discuss one more.
Okay, that's fine.
Then we'll close.
Okay, thank you.
Hakeem,
Yes, Uzo.
because we wasted some time, are you going to extend their time? Or it's still 5:30?
Let's give them 2-3 more minutes. So we'll end it by 5:33. There's no point if they've not discussed anything at all.
Yeah, so let's say 5:35.
Okay, that works.
All right.
That was oh my God.
We want to go back to the breakout to the breakout room. We're not
That
done.
was too quick.
We're not done.
We are not done.
So sorry, we just have 5 minutes. Oh my sure.
Wait, did you guys finish, Shukra?
Yes, we're able to, just round up quickly.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Well done.
Wow.
Yvonne and
Well done.
Ika.
Don't worry, we've got this. We're going to wing it, so it's not a problem. Let's see how we can. We are going to do this well, I'm sure.
Or can we request for 3 more minutes?
I mean, because
No,
everybody is not here yet.
I think everybody's here
we'll
now.
come back.
Ugochukwu, please, are we good?
Guys,
So
Wait,
the
my
thing is
team
actually that
lead,
it's not
Team
like we're actually
Alpha.
done actually. But I'm also chatting
I
with
don't
my
know.
this thing behind the scene. I'm
Better
chatting with my
need
member
I'm going to
about
owe
the story.
everybody on the call
So you
a
can do
box
that.
of pizza. I thought you guys had so much to say. How come nobody wants to buy everybody pizza?
Huh?
Okay, thank you guys. I mean, I love that you had an engaging session and that you guys have a lot of feedback. But sadly, because of time, that's not going to be our last breakout room. You guys are still going back for a different deliberation, right? But who wants to share what you came up with team by team? I would let the team leaders assign one person each to present for them. So we'll start with team Charlie.
All right.
In the next
So
1 minute,
as a team leader, thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity. As a team leader, I'm going to delegate to Yinka. Yeah, sorry if I pronounced it not well.
No, you did well. Thank you.
Thank
God,
you.
I'll be. Okay, so we were unable to have a conclusive thought process on this. However, the persons whose social enterprise we were discussing was for Yvonne. And a social enterprise is based off of different things. I mean, different aspects. But what we're concentrating on for the class is empowering young women between the ages of 14 to 17 who are according to the education system of Zimbabwe, right? Who are in Form 1 to Form 4, basically. So between Form 1 to Form 4. And the major problem statement is she has noticed that it started from a personal experience for her. She noticed that when she was younger, right, she realized she did not have a lot of self-confidence, and this affected the way she like dealt with people, dealt with work, dealt with school, and literally all the other interpersonal relationships she had in her life at that point. And she felt like, yes, this is also a point where a lot of young women are trying to figure out for themselves who they truly are and all. They're teenagers, of course, but then they're also like on the precipice of adulthood. So there's a lot of self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues that is going on there. And the solution she's trying to bring on board is educating these children and educating these young adults, not children, sorry for that, like on how to like be self-confident. And how she's hoping to go through that is by going to different schools and educating them on what self-confidence is, and making it so much better for them, and make sure that they are not alone. Now, in terms of the 3 steps solution that we are looking to prefer, that we thought to prefer for her, first of all, like this is, I don't know how to say this properly, but first of all, we are looking at how to like find out the actual major stakeholders. That's the first thing. So the stakeholders, meaning the students are stakeholders themselves, the parents are stakeholders, teachers are stakeholders, the Ministry of Education or whatever ministry is in charge, and all are like categorized into primary and secondary stakeholders and all. So in this process, the primary stakeholders are of course the students themselves in these individual schools, their teachers and all. And then the secondary stakeholders in this situation are going to be like the different ministries of education, and maybe say the principals of the individual schools that she's going to be going to. Second of all, we also thought about the fact that sometimes these schools they may not see the need actually for all of these types of intervention. For example, if a school is a more religious school, there's a there's a high chance that they will not see the need for like a, I don't know, social intervention, like a social intervention solution. I don't know how to say that properly. So in this other situation, I think we thought it is so much better to also analyze the types of schools that she's going to want to go to like provide this solution. And finally, of course, a sponsorship, right? She would have to reach out to specific say, how do you say it, organization that they already have goals to, or it is part of their goals to impact self-confidence in young women of this specific age, or maybe younger or older, so it is easier to like collaborate with them, reach a sense of collaboration, and like make this work. So that for the sake of sponsorship, and I don't mean sponsorship as necessarily just the money, but it could also be in kind, it could be in like in various other things and whatnot. Lastly, the final process is, and based off of what we have learned in the class, is of course the intervention in itself, and the fact that we are going to have to, of course, I want to like round this up with like the major story aspect of it, like impactful storytelling. So after she has gone to the schools to like educate these children, first off, she and her team would have to like take cognizance, or take stories, have recorded stories of like these students before they come in contact with a unique solution, right? During the solution, and of course after the solution, or maybe some months after the solution, so that like so that all of this data can then be collected for like deep and impactful storytelling, and of course for the sake of prosperity. This is the story, this is the data they are going to collect to, maybe say, I don't know how often, we didn't get to speak about how often she wants this to happen. Is this a one-time thing? Is this a continuous thing? Is this a continuous effort thing? For example, maybe she's going to 10 schools this time, this year, and then the next year she's looking to expand, or she's looking to, delegate, you understand, go to different communities. We are unable to talk about that in depth yet, but based off of what we have, she would be able to like, for posterity's sake, so in case when she wants to get sponsorship to do better work, or maybe say reach more people and all. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Thank you, Yinka, and well done. But I mean, you've done an incredible work. I want to ask, did you really discuss all of these things in 5 minutes? You know, but I struggled to see your story at the end of it all. I struggled to see your story at the end of it all. But well done, Team Charlie. Team Bravo. Team Bravo, Team Lead, please assign someone to, or you go ahead and tell us.
All right, yeah, thank you. Misura is going to give our story in 3 lines or in 3 sentences. Yeah. Misura, please go ahead.
Mr. Ra, your team lead just assigned you to go on behalf of we're waiting for you.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Ra. Please go ahead. Mr. Ra?
Oh, hello, sorry. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, so here's our own storyline. So there's a girl named Shade, and she was a secondary school leaver, and she went through a 3-month program at Jumisha ICT services. Like she learned IT training, and after the completion of the training, she sat down for JAM and she did very well. Aside from the fact that she studied really hard, she was also a computer literate, which happens to be an added benefit or advantage to the CBT exam she did. And she passed. After the exam, she went to school and she graduated, and while looking for a job, like while in school rather, sorry, she was doing a side also, and due to the fact that she have a skill, which is the ICT skill she learned while in secondary school, she was able to secure a job in the school as a typist, and she used that to train herself and empower herself while in school. After graduating, she was able to secure a job faster because she have ICT skills. And as we all know, the world is revolving around IT, like the world is already digital distance. So having an IT skills is an advantage to her. The strong 3-line statements in parts we could get from Shade's story is that she was able to be empowered through digital literacy, and this creates opportunity for her, and she was it sorry.
Mr. Ra, are you still speaking?
I don't know, being empowered, knowing that you have the skills that can provide you a source of income, stuff like that. So that's our own submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ra. Well done to you and to the team. You've done well, but it can be better. Okay. Team Alpha, over to you.
Good evening,
I'm
everyone.
Team Alpha.
Lindy will be presenting for Team Alpha. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. I'm not sure based on our discussion if we managed to cover everything. Listening to the previous speakers, it seems like we all took it from different angles. But anyway, this is what we worked on. So we have a target market, and then we have the business that we focused on and how it can be impactful to that situation, and what the problem statement of that community is, of the target market is. And our target market is your communities that are currently struggling with power and electricity. So you have a home and you have the electricity, but then the supply is unstable at the worst of times, and they end up in situations where they have to use candles. And the business, so that is our problem statement for the working with the community, with that specific community. And the business that we chose is called the Zen Candle Cafe. So Zen Candle Cafe is a business that is focused on creating candles based on 100% natural products. And the main thing about this is that with Zen candles, you are in a position to actually create a safer environment for your family when you're going through a problem with power and you're struggling to actually provide stable meals for your families. With everything going around and the amount of stress that you would have having to actually keep that up, by using Zen candles, you don't only protect the health of your family, because in most cases, your standard candles are used with paraffin wax to actually make them, which is actually harmful to young children, even adults and elderly people. And you actually get to evade that by using the Zen candles. And by doing that, you protect your family from harmful fumes from the candles. Two, as you hear, that we are Zen candles. So they're centered and they're focused around the fact that they're focused around calming you down and creating an atmosphere that you can appreciate despite the darkness that you are in. And we believe that by using Zen candles and partnering with communities that go through this process, we are actually helping also to give back in terms of mental health, because we give them one less thing to worry about. You don't have to worry about health, your family's health. You don't have to worry about, you get a chance to reach a Zen state with our wonderful flavors that we use and the aromas that you will have in your home, even through the hard times. It gives you just that one moment of peace. That's as far as we were able to go from our team. Unfortunately, due to the time limit, we got cut off. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindue, and well done to you and every single member of the team. Quite honestly, I think you guys all did an amazing job. You all approached it from different angles, but you all didn't specifically follow my instructions. But good work nonetheless. So let's take a look at the instructions again, yeah? Volunteer one person on this call who we're going to experiment with. So who is an entrepreneur here that wants to share their use case real quick? We all are, so who wants to volunteer to share their use case?
I mean, I would like to.
Okay, so tell me what you do.
Okay. All right then. I am the pioneer of a no to body shaming campaign. It's more of an awareness currently, but what it really does is to educate young children on like what body shaming is, how to combat it, and how to moving forward be self-confident afterwards. So educate them on what body shaming is, how to combat it, and how to be self-confident afterwards. And of course we have like a couple of products that we give out on, like we go to schools basically. Again, like I said, currently we go to schools, we embark on school tours and all, go to these individual schools, donate to them a book that is called My Body My Pride. It's written by myself, and we donate them to these kids. We have like a school session on the assembly, educating the entire children, the entire school, regardless of their age ranges. And then subsequently in their, what's it called, during the break period or whatever it is that the school is able to give to us, most of the time, usually between 20 minutes and 1 hour, we are able to do like a deep dive into what the book is saying. And we also get to donate like 100 copies of these books per school. We give them to the students. So the students across all of the classes that are available. Currently, we are, again, like I said, we're concentrating on like primary school students between the ages of 7 between the ages of 7 to 12, because these are the age ranges that we have seen in the last primary schools that we have been to last year and all. So that's just about it. That's what we do.
Thank you very much. So I'm using some of the information that you gave me to quickly create something. So give me 20 seconds. Okay, so this is what I heard, and I also assumed a couple of things, right? So what I am posting in the chat box right now is not 100%, right? It's just bits and pieces from what I got from you. But this is what I heard, right? BBSC, that's my abbreviation for, it should be NBSC, No to Body Shaming Campaign, right? NBSC. So who is the character, right? You said young people, I say young girls between the ages of 12 and 18. Why? Because this is the age where a lot of young girls are self-aware. It's the ages where the other young boys are starting to say, hey, I think you're beautiful. Hey, I think you look nice. You look nice. It's also the age where they experience a lot of transformation in their body, so they tend to pay a lot more attention. And so when someone say you look fat or you look ugly or you smell like garlic, it gets to them and it can affect your confidence and mental health right from that age. So that's the character that I give there. The challenge, I said extreme bullying and body shaming, right? The character experienced by girls within that age Your intervention is school tours that teaches the problems of body shaming and restore the confidence of young girls. Apologies for the typo in the chat box there. So, given your character, your challenge, and your intervention, you can tell a story. Now, I will tell you what your story should sound like. Every year, X number of girls, it can be X million girls between the ages of 12 and 18 in Nigeria's public primary schools experience extreme bullying and body shaming from their counterparts in school. What are the causes of that body shaming? You summarize it in one line or half a line, right? And so, to combat this problem, the NBSC campaign is engaging on school tours that helps to teach the problems around bullying, right? Educating people about the disadvantages and helping young girls to restore their confidence through the intervention that you mentioned, right? The tour, the education, and the projects that you give them, right? You can now go ahead and say, this year, we're trying to achieve X number or X percentage of students in training and to distribute X number of products to these people. And your call to action can now be, will you be a part of our success story? Join us now. Shikina. So the character, the challenge, the intervention, the call to action, and you have a compelling story. Now, I heard from one of the very first presentations that there was a particular social enterprise that does a number of things. That is also fine. What it means is that for every problem that you're solving, you have an impact story for them. I'm going to share my screen again and quickly go to the Lagos Food Bank and show us how they had multiple stories. But they arranged it in a way that was easy to understand and comprehend. Look at it. Nigeria has the second highest burden of malnourished children in the world. They quoted where it came from, and over 11 million Nigerians are currently living with diabetes. We support people with diabetes. So the problem, the character, the call to action. Problem statement. Well, in that problem statement, they are telling you the character. It's a broad character, but they're telling you who the character is. They're telling you what their intervention is, and they're asking you to do something about it, to donate. This thing is moving too fast, so I don't think I can stop it, but take a look at this. Numbers, character, the challenge, and then their intervention, and the call to action telling you to do something, to act now. Okay. And so just the way you have this structure, in a typical call to action or a typical problem statement, it's the same way you would structure an entire proposal if you were to write it. It's the same framework that would use for your script. So let me tell you the exciting thing about this. Once you understand your character, your challenge, and your intervention, or your characters, their challenges, and your interventions, as the case may be, you can tell as many stories as you want if you understand that. Right? So whether you're creating content for your website or content for your social media, or you're creating a proposal, or or you're just creating a pitch, right? This also qualifies as a pitch. So if I say, tell me what you do, for example, you don't start by saying, hi, my name is X, I do Y. You say, no. You tell me from an impact point of view. My name is Yinka, for example, and I am helping young bullied girls in Nigeria's primary education system to regain their confidence. That's exciting for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, tell me more. How do you do that? Then you can now start giving me all the stories. But you see, your job is to use that first page or that first pitch or your first statement to arrest my attention. And I want to learn more. I want to know more. I want to know what you need. Minka, I hope you get the difference.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Does everyone else understand what I've just explained, or do you have any question relating to that? If you do understand, just use the thumbs up. If you don't, please unmute and ask a question. Amazing. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Awesome. So we will move on. So thank you for that group discussion and well done to everybody. Now, what process do you go through to actually craft a story? There's a process, right? And my asking us to go through that was also to understand our level of understanding of that particular process. Okay, so there's a process that is repeatable that we can always follow. But remember, before you do this, you also must understand your three most important determinants, right, for your story. That's your character, that's your challenge, and that's your intervention. Now, when you want to craft your story, there are 6 steps to take. Step number 1, know your audience. Step number 2, you need stories. So you need to collect real stories of real people, real impact. Question number 3, you need an arc. Number 4, you need to blend your story with data. So data is number 4. Number 5, you need a medium. Then finally, you need to test and refine. So let's take it one by one. Number 1, know your audience, right? A donor, a policymaker, the general public, these are people that need to see different things. Okay? In your industry, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. So if you're speaking to a donor needs measurable proof. They want to see pictures, they want to see videos of the things that you're doing. They want to see where their money is going to and how you're going to spend it. A policy maker, for example, needs numbers, they need scale. So for example, if you're trying to solve this problem at the zonal education level, and you're trying to work with maybe the zonal inspectors for education in the different zones across the country, to influence them, you will need a policy, an education policy. And for you to get the policymaker to work with you, you need to present evidence of scale to show that this thing is happening to at least 60-70% of young people in government-owned institutions or across the country's educational institutions in total. So a policymaker needs scale, they need numbers. A community, they want recognition. So if you're trying to do something for an entire community, you need to present it to them in a way that it feels like they are the solutions, they are the ones solving their problems on their own. So you won't work with them, you will work through them. And so when you're presenting the story to them, you present it as a story that works through them, not a story that works with them or a story that works for them, a story that works through them. You make them the center of the story. So your problem statement, your story rather, will differ based on who your audience is. And if you're writing for the general public, you want to be impact-based, right? You want people to see your numbers because there is no telling who is going to come looking for those information. It might be humans, it might also be ChatGPT, it might be investors, it might be decision makers, it might be anybody. So if you're telling a public story, you want to put your best foot forward at all times. But remember, your story is 100% dependent on the audience. Number 2, you need to have a systematic process of collecting evidence, of collecting proofs. So with the people you're working with, whether you're using interviews, photos, audio notes, short videos, whatever it is at all, you need to ensure that you're collecting that because it's an integral part of your story. As you're saying it, you need to back it up with evidence, okay? Number 3, I said the arc, right? So what is the arc? It's a 3-step process to make your story as simple and as straightforward as possible without confusion. The beginning states your challenge, the middle states your intervention, the end states the transformation that people are getting. And you want to follow that process when you're crafting your story. But remember that if you know who your character, the challenge, and the intervention is, you already have this solved 99%, right? So you can always bring that into your story. It is the framework upon which you tell your story. Number 4, always blend your story with data. So if you were to take a mental, travel back to Lagos Food Bank's, story, some of the numbers that they quoted for malnutrition and for their health crisis, they are telling you that those numbers were provided by UNICEF. So it's authoritative data that says in the world today, in Africa today, in Nigeria today, 10,000 people, 10 million people suffer from this problem. So you know that it is not a fragment of my own imagination. It is a real problem faced by real people that we're trying to solve here. So always use data. And then when you're also talking about the impact of your product, you also need to use data. Okay. Let's say you helped 1,500 people, Yinka. Instead of saying this year we helped 1,500 people regain their confidence, you can zone in on one of those girls whose story you want to really share and say, Fatima, for example, is just one of the 1,500 girls whose confidence was restored through our program. And today, this is what Fatima is doing with her newfound confidence. It appeals to everybody much better. Then 5, you have to pick a medium. Where are you going, or how are you going to transmit this information? Your websites? Do you want to create reports? Do you want to host a podcast? Do you want to do social media? How do you want to be in the faces of people? You can't be everywhere. And even if you are, you can't be strong everywhere. So pick the areas of your strength. But remember, it is 100% determined by the type of audience that you're currently speaking or you're trying to appeal to. And then finally, test and refine. Don't jump into the deep end. Test, take feedback, refine, then shoot. That's my 6 proven steps for us to, craft incredible stories. Now, what are the common misconceptions that people may have when it comes to impact storytelling? There is 3 major ones here, and I just want to quickly rush through them. So what you will hear, people will tell you that impact storytelling is just about emotions. It's not just about emotions, okay? What we're trying to invoke is the emotion. We're looking for emotional connection, but that's not all there is to it. What you're actually trying to do is that you're trying to balance emotion and credibility. You're trying to spend emotion as a currency to gain credibility. So it's a breach, and there has to be a balance. So you're using authoritative data, and you are blending it with a story. You're blending it in your, incredible use of words to achieve emotional connection that gives you credibility. Another misconception is that people think that one story is enough. And because they think that one story is enough, they try to tell all of their story in one way. They try to share all their impact with one story. The answer is that is wrong. You can have multiple stories. Okay? What you need is consistency and a clear, ongoing, right? A clear upward trajectory to your stories. So every time you tell a story, the next thing has to connect to the previous ones. That shows consistency and it gives you credibility. So if your goal, for example, is to help girls, right? You can start your journey by telling a story about, your physical interventions, the trainings that you hold for these girls when you're talking to them. The second story might be a story of the products and how it is changing their lives. It's the same thing. But if you're trying to talk about everything in one story, you will lose confusing and losing the attention. You risk rather confusing and losing the attention of the people that you're talking to. But if you make it a series, and series 1 is a story, series 2 is another story that is a continuation of where you stopped in series 1. You see, then it becomes more exciting for the people that you're speaking with. And finally, your reports are not just numbers. Your reports must be numbers with human faces, because those are things that are unforgettable. It's not just about saying 1,500 girls, for example. It's about saying that Yinka is 1 out of 1,500 girls. So maybe you cannot highlight all 1,500 girls and tell us their name and stories, but you can tell us the story of 1 out of those 1,500. You can deep dive, you can do interviews, you can take pictures, and you can share that with us. That adds a lot of credibility to your story. It makes it more believable, and it makes us excited to work with you. Guys, are we together? If we are, let me see those thumbs up. If we're still together, let me see those thumbs up. Thank you, Naseba, Ogochukwu, Lindiwe, April, Yinka. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying with me. Okay. So let's look into impact storytelling and corporate storytelling, and let's see what the difference is. So earlier I mentioned the stories of Apple, yeah, and how they were focused on the results in telling their story. But the truth is, at the end of the day, that's corporate storytelling. It's great. If you look at Coca-Cola, for example, Coca-Cola's what's it called? Story will always end with one thing, that they are sharing happiness. So every time Coke is telling you a story through their ads or their videos, you'll never see Coke, being drunk at a burial ceremony, for example, right? You'll never see them giving it to somebody in the hospital, because those moments are moments of sadness. And Coca-Cola has a thing. They always want to be affiliated with happiness. So if you've not been paying attention now, please do. You'd realize that every single Coca-Cola advert that you have seen from inception up until today is guided by happiness as its principle. So whether it is share a Coke with a friend campaign, or bring life to the party campaign, or enjoy a football match campaign, it is only and always happy moment. Okay. So those are examples of stories that need the middle, but they are corporate stories. Impact stories, on the other hand, will focus on how you're changing people's lives, how you're transforming their journey, you're transforming their existence, how you're adding value to them. And that's like the major difference between both. I wanted us to deep dive a bit more, but we're lost for time, right? So I'm rushing through things that we can rush through so that we can now get to this moment. And it's the moment of our second breakout session. Okay. So now, this is our task. Pick an organization that you admire and determine their type of storytelling approach. Are they a corporate storytelling organization, or are they an impact storytelling organization? But I'm going to make this a little more, maybe a bit harder, right? Pick 3 organizations. Make sure that you have a good representation of a corporate storytelling organization and an impact storytelling organization. You cannot use any of the organizations that I have used and whose story I have shared earlier. So you can't use Lagos Food Bank, you can't use JCI, you can't use Inatus. Okay. So find organizations and let's work with them. And then give me an example of their storytelling style. And now tell me, for the organization that is a corporate storytelling organization, how can they shift from what they already have into making it an impact storytelling approach? I hope that I have not confused you guys. If you understand the task, please give me a thumbs up. If you understand
Please
the
repeat
task,
the task.
pick
I don't
3
think they
of-
understand. So if you could please repeat it for them.
Okay. Pick 3 organizations. Okay. Pick 3 organizations. Identify their storytelling approach. Yeah. So that's you telling me if they are a corporate storytelling organization or if they are an impact storytelling organization. Okay. And then for
Hello,
those
Mr.
who are
Hakeem.
yes,
Hello, can you
please.
hear me? So
Yes, I
I'm
can hear.
thinking it's almost 6:20. This is 6:18 now. So I'm thinking that can we probably make this assignment for them to work on and submit?
Okay, let's ask them. Guys, do you prefer this as an assignment or an in-class task? Those who want this as an assignment, say hi. Those who do not want this as an assignment, stay near.
Nay.
Hi.
Guys, keep it coming.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi.
You want that cheating? You said I like thrice now.
So I'm looking at the for the Zimbabweans that are 1 hour ahead, it's already running late for them as well. So and also for some of our Nigerians, probably they'll have 1 or 2 things to. If you can just make it an assignment. I don't know if you oblige us and give us probably 1 hour on 23rd of August, which is expected to be our last class for this board. You can just come in and share 1 hour with us. We would appreciate that.
So I think the class has voted in favor of this being an assignment, so we'll take it up as an assignment.
All right,
but this
thank
is
you.
a 20, right? So please submit it before your class tomorrow. So that we do not
Sorry, please,
lose it.
can you haven't said the question finished. Please, can you complete the question? I'll be the assignment.
Okay, I will type it in the
Yes.
chat box.
Oh, all
Yes,
right.
I think can it be typed in the group, and then can we also have a date to submit the assignment?
Before your class tomorrow, please.
Sorry?
Submit before your class tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we will close by looking at a few practical takeaways, okay? So I'm going to give us a 7-point checklist for writing impactful stories. The number 1 question you need to answer, what impact are you making? Number 2, who needs to hear that story? So you're defining your audience. Number 3, how are you collecting the metrics you need in that story? What metrics do you need? And how are you collecting them? What metrics does your audience need to hear? Okay. Number 4, how are you achieving credibility and emotion? What that means is that how are you pairing data with real life human stories? Number 5, what are your channels? Number 6, how consistent are you? And finally, how are you measuring your impact? How are you measuring your resonance? So the stories, the funding, the advocacy, the community, how are you measuring its effect, its impact on people? If you can consistently ask these questions, and this is synonymous with what I shared earlier as well. This is just a recap. If you can consistently find the answers to these questions, you would consistently create incredible stories. Okay. So please note that impact storytelling is not about making your organization the hero. The hero is always the person or the community that you are serving. Your role, you are just the guide who helped them make that transformation possible. I'll repeat that. And perhaps we can make this our guiding principle. Impact storytelling is not about making your organization the hero. The hero of this story is always the person or the community that you served, the person whose life changed, the community who has experienced transformation. That is the hero of the story. You are just the guide that helps them unlock their next chapter and achieve the best transformation possible. If you remember that, and you remember all the points that we mentioned earlier, you create some of the best stories that the world is yet to witness. In closing, you see, stories are how we turn strangers into believers and believers into partners. If you take nothing else away from this class today, remember that data can inform, but stories inspires. And inspiration sometimes, or most times, will lead to transformation. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining this call. I will put the question together and I will share with the team so that it can be shared on the group. And if you have any questions, I think I'm on the group with you as well, so ask your questions on the group. If we have to jump on a call for clarity, one-on-one, if you want me to tailor some of these responses to your particular business, I think I might be willing to dedicate a few time to getting that done as well. Thank you very much for having me. Please have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hakeem Akiode. Thank you. As I finally call you, my other
Thank you, sir.
even though you always don't
Thank
want to
you.
admit, but you don't have a choice, sir. Thank you so much for coming to class today. I'm sure the participants have learned a lot. Even if I ask them to give feedback, maybe I will be counting lots of leaves of the answer of their booklets. So thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough for having this session with us. And so once we have the assignments, I will share with them. Then maybe I hope that we can bring you back to class before this cohort ends. Thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Dear participants, thank you very much. See you all in class tomorrow by 3:30 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Same to you, Smee.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.